Hey folks, Kevin Herbst here again. Session 2, duck calling instruction for my desert fowlers. Kind of talked about the 3 or 4 calls you want to do. Now let's talk about when you want to do them. I was out the other day at La Jolla with my boy, and he said, "Hey Dad, you're not calling. Why?" I said, "There's no ducks. We just don't go out there as a Pied Piper and start blowing a duck call." I see a lot of new callers just go out there, new duck hunters. They're just blowing the duck call. You're driving people nuts. Stop. If you see ducks, you're reading ducks, you can see them in the air. Call them, work the ducks as you see them. Don't just blow your duck call, inconsistently and all the time. Wait till you see ducks and work them. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when I do that 5 or 6 note hen, as soon as I see the ducks and I see them start to break and I read them, and then it's very little calling after that. Once I've got them working the spread, they're circling, I call to tips and tails, meaning I call to their wings. If they pass me, I'll hit them with a hard hen, and that's almost a comeback call, and it's real hard, and then I speed it up afterwards. Almost pleading with them to come back. And as soon as I hit that, it's what I call the death spin. You'll see them turn, bank, come back into you, and then I get real quiet and just bring them in with soft quacks and a little bit of the chuckle, not a rolling chuckle, but maybe just a make him like clucks more. Get real soft, and then almost stop. 75 yards out when they're coming in, I stop altogether. So that's basically mallard working. What's happening? I start them off with a long hail. I bring them in a little bit closer. I get quiet. I don't want to call a lot because then they're looking for you. I want to keep their eyes off of me. I want to keep myself hidden well. A lot about movement here in New Mexico on the river. Find a spot. You don't have to be really well camouflaged. Just don't move. There's plenty of stuff all through New Mexico. There's rocks or logs or things in the riverbanks. Just stay still. The other thing we talk about on the duck calls. You've got lanyards. You've got 2 loops. Use both loops. I can't tell you the amount of times where my calls have come apart when I'm putting decoys out and I look down and they're like this. There's a reason why you've got loops on your lanyards. Use both of them. One on the barrel, one on the insert. Probably the best tip I can give. I can't tell you over the years, 20 years of making duck calls, how many people came to me and said, "Oh, I lost the insert," or "I lost the barrel." They'll usually just put the loop on the barrel, not on the insert. Use both of them. Okay, so you got a couple other things on your calls. This is a DOA X whistle. Really simple. Obviously, we've got pintails, we got widgeon, we got teal, all the state of New Mexico. You're looking for that 6th duck, the other duck. Use your whistle. This is just basically, this was a security whistle that we turned into the DOA X whistle. And we can do 3 or 4 different calls with it. We can do the widgeon. We can do a Drake mallard. We can do a rolling pintail. And just the peep of a teal. So obviously, you've got mallard calls, you've got different calls, mix them in. Use a little bit of everything. You can also do, if you have just a dog whistle, I've got a Fox 40 on here, one of the loudest whistles out there, and you can play around with that if you don't have an X whistle or a pintail whistle. A lot of things you can do. Get creative. You're probably not going to scare the birds off. They've heard a lot of different things. And it's good for you to learn different things. Master those 3 or 4 different calls. The feeding call. Talk a little bit about that. You've heard me do the 2 feeding calls, the rolling feeder with the quacks. It's cool. Sounds great. I really have migrated over recently in my duck hunting experience to just that more of the clucks. And it's just a single cut. You can roll it if you want, and that's just rolling the tongue. What this allows you to do is get the tongue in the right position so you can hit those quacks, hit those short little notes, those 5-noters, and that's good for you. Last but not least, just etiquette in the field. You shouldn't be calling all the time. Take your time. Get the birds. If 15, 20 yards, you can do it. It's easy to do in New Mexico. Pick your drakes. Can't say this enough. We have an obligation for those of us in New Mexico who hunt a lot. We kill 150, 200 birds a year. We can't sustain that kind of a population if we keep shooting hens. So let's keep it down to pick your drakes, be patient, look for those green heads. You guys might think I'm being arrogant, but it's really not about that. let's look at the numbers. If you're killing 150, 200 ducks a year, as many people are, and if you're shooting 40% of those are hens, which is legal to do, I get it, but we really didn't consider New Mexico population. We do kill per duck hunter in the top 5 per outing per duck hunter in the entire United States, and I think we're above 5 birds per outing. And a lot of people go out and they kill a lot more than that. But if you're shooting 40% of your birds are hens, that's potentially 60 to 80 hens a year that aren't going back to the breeding ground, so they're not producing any clutch, and that's 12 to 15 birds per. So do the math, and if each one of us does that. So it's called voluntary strength. It's conservation minded. It makes sense. My career, I went from the point where it was all about killing numbers to making sure I had a more conservative, mindset when hunting, and looking to just kill, drakes, let the hens fly. So I think that's it. Kevin Herbst out. I'm gonna maybe show you a few more videos later on. Hope you enjoyed these. Thanks.